Student, we were discussing about the four-chambered heart. In the last lecture, also we have discussed about the reptilian heart. So, in the special example with the reptile, we have taken crocodile, and we observe that the four chambers are present into the crocodilian heart, but still there was mixing of the blood. Can anyone tell me the name of the aperture which was helping the mixing of blood? Yes, it was present into the vessels, blood vessels, which was allowing the blood to go to the in this systemic arch instead of the lungs. Come on, fast. I've given you hint also. Yes, you remember foramen of Peneza. So it was situated into the blood vessel, which was letting the mixing of blood, or you can say it was letting the deoxygenated blood go into the body. So till the reptilian, and it was the very new advancement in the case of the reptiles, right? As we all can see, okay, other reptiles, they were just having the three chambered heart only, and the ventricle that was separated partially by a membranous septa. But till reptile, in all the classes, as I told you, that reptile evolution in reptile, it happens with the crocodile, and thereafter the more modification was archaeopteryx, and that lead to the avian life. So archaeopteryx was the connecting link between the reptile and the bird. So now this bird is the higher order into the evolution. So definitely there must be the more and more advancement. So here the complete four chamber heart will be present, and development will be much and more advanced when you will compare with to the typical reptilian heart, as well as if you will compare with the crocodilian heart. So when we talk about the four chamber heart, so now see, as we have discussed earlier, that this type of heart will be observed into the birds and the mammals. Now, the main advancement or having the proper fourth chamber. Now, here this will very much helpful to set up the proper separation of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood, because now here the vessels, or you can say the route, is completely changed, so there is no chance of the mixing of such type of blood. Now why there is necessary? Because see, as we go ahead into the evolution, or you can say advancement, so the every system is advancing, your brain is advancing, your digestive system, everything is advancing. So that means the metabolic rate is also increasing to support the new advanced metabolic rate. There is a need of the more and more energy, and this energy can be harvested with the oxygen only, because whatever food we have eaten, so that food, until and unless not oxidized, that will not give out the ATP, or you can say the energy. So for that particular region, there is a need of more and more oxygen. So to fulfill the required oxygen demand, there is a need that the blood should be completely oxygenated, because lungs are doing their task proper, but the blood is mixing. So whatever efforts lungs, or you can say the respiratory surface, has taken for catching or to bringing the atmospheric air inside the body, that efforts go vague if that will not be completely given to the blood, or if there is mixing of the blood. So for that reason, advancement of this heart was required. So this particular complete separation has brought by the this four chambered way. So first we will be talking about the pigeon heart. When we talk about the bird. So we know they have the aerial lifestyle also. So they belong to the which phylum? They belong to the phylum Chordata, okay, or you can say the vertebrata. And when we talk about the aves or the birds, so we know that uh, their metabolic rate is extremely high. When we were talking about the lungs, so we have seen that they have the special advanced type of lung, and they were supported with the extra air chambers. The reason behind that, to store the air for because their food must be digest very faster rate. So when the metabolic rate is high, so definitely oxygen demand is also high. So they cannot afford at all the mixing of the blood. So the blood, for this reason, the blood is kept separated by the dual pump system. We all are going to discuss that dual pump in detail when we will be talking about the working of the heart. So this is the heart of the pigeon. Now, when we talk about the chambers, so we know there will be two atria, and now see when the chambers are increased. So whatever circulatory route was there, that route was reestablished. So that there should not be any mixing of the oxygenated and the deoxygenated blood. Now we have seen there was interventricular foramen, and there was division of the aorta into the trunks. So all this route is re-established, new vessels, there was advancement in the heart. So definitely there was advancement into the vessels also. So the heart of pigeon, it is completely four chamber. There will be two atria, or you can say the auricles. There will be two ventricles. Same chambers will be present into the mammals also. When we talk about sinus venosus, truncus arteriosus, what do you think, it will be present or not? Sinus venosus, truncus arteriosus are the accessory heart chamber. So, what is your opinion? It will be there or not there? Fast. Am I audible, class?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
what do you think, sinus venosus or truncus arteriosus will be present or not? Reptilian case we have already discussed about it. Accessory chambers, accessory heart chamber in yesterday's lecture only. Come on, fast. Think about it. Sinus venosus will be there or not there, or what is the function of the accessory heart chamber, sinus venosus? What is the function of it? We have discussed in detail when we were talking about fish. So, what was the function of that? It was the supportive chamber of the atrium, right? It was collecting the blood. But now here the heart is properly four chambers. So these accessory chambers, these are not required. So all this chamber, you can say they are incorporated into the right auricles only, right? In the last lecture only I have taught you this particular concepts. Okay, now this task of collecting blood will be overtaken by the atrium itself, right? Atrium said, now I don't want, now there is need of the advancement of the right atrium. So everything is advancing. So these extra chambers are not required. Okay, so with the modification that chambers are incorporated, or you can say were embedded or dissolved inside the atrium only. So this right atrium, when they are taking, now we have seen that this sinus venosus, it was having the collecting ducts and all. So all these things will be fixed inside to the uh, body, inside the atrium itself. Now when we will compare the bird's heart with other vertebrates heart as compared to their body, or as compared to the other organelle. So comparatively, it is large in size. It is seen. Now you all can see the position very well, that it can be seen mid-ventrally. It is present into the thoracic cavity. Now when we talk about the shape, so yes, it's conical in shape, and when we will observe its base, so it is having a broad base, or you can say the anterior part is a base. Okay, so this region, this anterior part is the base. Okay, and this narrow or tapering part, it is the apex. Okay, so this base is situated to the anterior and posterior lots, many time I have told you, and the base, it is situated to the sorry, the apex, it is situated to the posterior end. Now when we talk about the covering, so we have learned that the covering of heart is called as the pericardium. Now pericardium, we have learned so many times, it is dual layer, it is thin, it is transparent, it is membranous sac. So pericardium, outer is the parietal one, inner one is the visceral one. In between two, what is present? In between two layer of pericardium is what? Pericardial or the serous fluid is present. Alhamdulillah. Now function of this pericardium. Yes, fast. We have discussed earlier also what is the function of the pericardium. Come on, fast. What is the function of the pericardium? Don't write into the chat box, read out. Unmute yourself and tell me that the function of the pericardium is. I will only say it protects the heart from shock and injury, and it allows the easy movement. Now see the why there is a need of such protection, such covering, because rhythmic movement are present, and this rhythmic movement brings the beating into the heart. So when the heart beats, so this contraction and this repulsion are very forceful, and to prevent any type of injury, to prevent any type of damage and shock, so there is a need that it should be kept into a proper cavity. Otherwise, there is a chance that it may collapse and its functioning can be ceases. So to avoid all such problem, the heart is present into the proper pericardium, or you can say the protecting layer. Now, when we talk about the this anatomically, if you will observe that earlier we will have seen that there was no proper separation of auricle and ventricle, but now here this auricle and ventricle, they will be properly separate the thing, but inner demarcation was there, but upper region and lower region was attached too much. But now here this outer, or you can say the upper part, which is, you can say the base, or which is broader, so this particular broader part will be having the auricle, and these auricles, they are having the auriculoventricular groove means a sulcus kind, and it separates the auricle from the ventricle. So this way, now inside definitely separation is there, because this is the four chambered heart. When we talk about the auricle, so it are present on the basal side, that means position will be the anterior definitely. So these are very small, dark and thin walled. When we talk about the ventricle, so this will be larger color wise, if you will observe, so these are lighter and thick walled. Auricles, they are in from inside, they are demarcated by the interauricular groove. But when we talk about the ventricle, so the ventricle, they will be having in thick muscular ventricular septum. Now see, when we were discussing about the reptiles, I told you that the ventricles are also separated by the thin membranous, you can say septa like thing. But in the next class when we will be talking, so this septum will be replaced by the muscular wall. So now that from aves onwards, you will be observe that the ventricles, they have the proper thick muscular septum, and this septum is called as the interventricular septum. And this septum, this helps to separate the two ventricles from each other. Now when we, yes, this one. Now when we talk about the one by one, we will discuss all
Excuse
the.
me, ma'am, your voice is breaking.
Now my voice is clear. Now, when we talk about the walls, okay, the, or you can say the separation between the ventricle halves and the auricle part. So, in the auricle, interauricular septum is present. And when we talk about the muscular, see, you will remember when we were talking about the previous class or previous example. So, I told you that the ventricle separation has been started, but it will be a proper demarcation with the thick muscular wall. So yes, this advancement brought from this particular class, and this ventricular septum is now muscular, okay, and it is a very thick walled septum which is properly separating the right ventricle from the left ventricle. Now when we talk about the chamber, so the first chamber, of course, when we start studying, so we start from the right atrium only. So inside the right atrium, there are three caval veins: right caval vein, then left precaval vein, and the post precaval vein. So these three veins are there. Now these three veins, these precaval veins, they will be collecting the blood from the body. You all can see this precaval vein. Okay, so blood, now here only one caval vein is only shown, but here are the three, this way three caval veins are there: right, left, and one is the post. So it is bringing the blood from the various part of the body. So this opening is directly brought inside the atrium itself, because we have seen there is no sinus venosus or extra chamber is present which is going to collect the blood on behalf of the right atrium. So here directly the right atrium itself is going to collect the blood from the body with the help of these three caval veins. Then when we talk about this vein, so muscular eustachian valve will be present. This valve will be preventing, or you can say the guarding, the opening of the post caval vein, and this right and auricle that will be opening inside the right ventricle. So definitely there must be a valve. So here the valve is present, and you can see this right atrioventricular valve. So this valve is preventing the blood drainage inside the ventricles, and this particular wall is the auriculoventricular wall. Now when we talk about the pulmonary aorta, so definitely we know the destination of the right side blood is inside the lungs. So here this will be going. Now these are the pulmonary arteries. Actually complete नहीं बनाया गया है. Here arrow is shown. It is somewhat like this. Okay, so this blood will be going to the lungs. Now see, you can see here pulmonary aorta is there, and this pulmonary aorta is bifurcating and will be going to each side of the lung because two lungs are present. So this pulmonary aorta, it is also guarded by the three semilunar walls. Here we will not discuss about the semilunar walls because in the earlier example we have discussed it in detail. Now, when we talk about the right side is over, now we'll talk about the left side. So, when we talk about the left auricle, so it is the receiving chamber. It is small and it receives four pulmonary veins. Okay, two veins from each side of the lung. So these veins are important. Now, what pulmonary veins will bring? It will bring the oxygenated blood from the lungs. So this auricle will be opening inside the left ventricle. These are the pulmonary veins. These are going to bring the blood from the lungs. So this auricle will be filled, and when this auricle will be filled, so it will be opening inside the left ventricle. Now we know the name of connecting link is the auriculoventricular aperture. So it's situated into the left side. So left auriculoventricular aperture will be opening, and two membranous flap, the auriculoventricular valve is present, and it is preventing the backflow. When we talk about the wall of ventricle, so from the wall of ventricle, there is a need of special type of muscles, or you can say tendinae, which can hold the wall into the position. Otherwise, this wall, see, it should have the proper guarding so that the proper tight closing should be there. So there is avoid of the transport, or you can say backflow of the blood. So for that particular reason, the specialized papillary muscles are present, which are called as the chordae tendinae, and these are connecting, or you can say these are holding the wall into the position. So this is about the overall four chamber. Now when we talk about the systemic aorta, so definitely here the proper systemic aorta, or you can say the blood, it is present. Let me complete it. Here it is somewhat like this. So this systemic aorta, it arises from the ventricle. Now from the left ventricle, there will be left, we have seen left arch was present in reptiles and frogs. So this left arch will not be present. Only and only one dorsal aorta will be there. That the dorsal aorta will be dividing and it will be taking to the blood. Now again here also three semilunar walls, this will be preventing or guarding opening into the aortic arch. Now when we talk about the cavities of ventricle, so there will be muscles, or you can say the trabeculae, columnar cornea. So this will be present, and this will be guarding, or this will be supporting the proper pressure, or holding the heart into the proper way. So here now what is going to be the working of the heart, we'll discuss into the next class, but again we will just revise the anatomy once again. We have seen the four chamber. The right atrium, it will be having the three cavalways. One is left precaval, one is right precaval, and one is the post pre-caval or caval vein. So now the function is that they all are going to collect the blood from the entire body, and they are filling the right atrium. Now from the right atrium, once the right atrium is completely filled, the blood will be taken inside to the right ventricle. Now this right ventricle will have the pulmonary vein, or you can say the pulmonary arch, which will be taking the blood from the heart to the lungs for the oxygenation, and this blood will be entering, this blue arrow is showing. So this blood will be entering to the each side of lung by the bifurcation, or you can say the deviation of the pulmonary aorta, and now the blood has entered inside the lung. So from the lung, after now, what will happen in lungs? The gaseous exchange will occur, and after that the blood will become the oxygenated, and this oxygenated blood will be given back to the heart for the purpose of the distribution. So from the lungs, the blood will enter into the left side of the auricle or your left atrium. So there will be four pulmonary veins, and these four pulmonary veins, two from each lung, will be filling your left side of the atrium. Once the left side of the atrium it is filled, so this is going to drive the blood inside your left ventricle, and once the left ventricle is filled, it is going to give pressure on the three semilunar valve, and that will open, and that will be giving the blood to the body by your aorta. So this way the blood is transferring, or you can say the blood is serving into the four chambers. So this is all about the anatomical part. Any doubt till here? Yes. Yes, students, any doubt? So not, so we can stop for now.